The Galactic Council had always considered humans to be the galaxy's most peculiar species. Not because of their technology, which was adequate at best, or their military might, which was laughably small compared to the great empires. No, humans were peculiar because they were nice. For 200 years since first contact, humanity had played the role of galactic diplomats, peacekeepers, and mediators. When the Krillian Empire and the Vothar Collective went to war over mining rights in the Andromeda sector, it was Ambassador Michael Peterson who negotiated the peace. When famine struck the desert worlds of Epsilon Prime, it was Captain Rebecca Walsh who organized the relief convoys, using Earth's own resources. The other species found it amusing. The mighty Krillians, with their battle fleets that could glass planets, often joked that humans were the galaxy's favorite pets, useful, friendly, and ultimately harmless. That changed on a cold morning in New Geneva, the human diplomatic hub orbiting Saturn. Admiral James Rodriguez stood before the Council's holographic projectors, his jaw clenched as he watched the footage again. The colony of New Haven, home to 50,000 human settlers, was gone. Not evacuated. Not conquered. Vaporized. The Krillian Fourth Fleet had reduced it to atoms as a demonstration of power during trade negotiations. The Krillian High Command sends their regards, the alien ambassador hissed through the translator, his reptilian features twisted in what might have been a smile. They suggest Earth reconsider their position on the Titan mining rights. Next time, it might be Earth itself. The council chambers fell silent. Every species present waited for the typical human response, a strongly worded diplomatic protest, perhaps economic sanctions, maybe even a tearful plea for galactic justice. Instead, Admiral Rodriguez smiled. It wasn't a friendly smile. Message received, he said quietly. Council adjourned. Within 48 hours, something unprecedented happened. Every human diplomat, every human peacekeeper, every human aid worker in the galaxy received the same order: come home. The Galactic Council didn't understand at first. The Vothar representative even sent a mocking transmission: have the humans gone to pout in their corner of space? They stopped laughing 3 weeks later. The Krillian Empire, bloated from centuries of conquest and utterly dependent on the complex trade networks humanity had helped establish, began to fracture. Human mediators had been holding together 24 subjugated species through nothing but diplomatic skill. Without them, the Empire's slave worlds saw their opportunity. The revolution started on Kelter 9. Then spread to Praxis. Then to a dozen others. But that was just the beginning. Captain Jennifer Martinez stood on the bridge of the Perseverance, watching her tactical display with satisfaction. For 2 centuries, humanity had been sharing technology, medical advances, and agricultural techniques freely with any species that asked. The galaxy had thought it was because humans were generous. They were wrong. Humans were strategic. Every piece of technology humanity had shared was dependent on rare earth elements or required human-produced catalysts. Every medical treatment required compounds synthesized in Earth's unique biosphere. Every high-yield crop needed Earth-exported pollinators. When the supply stopped, civilization stumbled. The Vothar Collective, whose population had tripled thanks to human medical science, watched in horror as their birth rates plummeted back to pre-contact levels. The Sethrak Dominion, whose fleet ran on human-refined antimatter, found their warships stranded in deep space. The mighty Krillians discovered that the nanite-based healing technology that had kept their warrior caste alive for centuries had a built-in degradation sequence, one that activated without regular updates from Earth. Admiral, Martinez reported, the Krillian High Command is requesting an emergency summit. Rodriguez leaned back in his chair aboard the Washington, humanity's newest dreadnought. Funny thing about humans being nice for 200 years, everyone had forgotten that Earth had spent 10,000 years perfecting the art of war amongst themselves. While the galaxy built bigger ships and more powerful weapons, humans had quietly been building something else, a military doctrine based on 10 millennia of bitter experience. The Krillians had warships that could shatter moons. Humanity had submarines in Jupiter's atmosphere, stealth drones in the Oort cloud, and enough nuclear weapons hidden in asteroid belts to end civilizations. They just never needed to mention it before. Tell them we'll consider their request, Rodriguez said. After we receive formal apologies and reparations for New Haven. And after they release every subjugated species in their empire. Sir, they're saying that's impossible. Their economy would collapse. I know. Rodriguez's smile was cold. Send a counteroffer. They have 72 hours to comply, or we stop being nice to everyone else too. The transmission went out on all galactic frequencies. Every species, every government, every corporation that had benefited from human kindness for 2 centuries received the same message: the old rules were done. Humanity had spent 200 years building a galaxy that couldn't function without them, and now they were calling in the debt. Some called it blackmail. Some called it economic warfare. Humans called it Tuesday. Within a month, the Krillian Empire had fractured into 20 independent systems. The Galactic Council, recognizing which way the wind was blowing, formally apologized for failing to prevent the New Haven massacre and granted humanity a permanent seat with veto power. The Vothar Collective quietly signed a treaty recognizing human sovereignty over the entire Sol system and its surrounding sectors. Ambassador Michael Peterson, out of retirement, stood before the Reformed Council and delivered humanity's new doctrine: for 200 years, we played nice. We helped, we healed, we mediated. We did this because we believed in a better galaxy. But we will never allow kindness to be mistaken for weakness again. We are happy to be your friends, your partners, your allies. But make no mistake, cross us, and you'll discover why Earth spent 10,000 years fighting itself before we ever reached the stars. The galaxy had learned a hard lesson. Humans weren't the friendly pets everyone thought they were. They were apex predators who'd simply chosen to be vegetarians. Until someone made them hungry.